How did they get us to jump on board this program so enthusiastically? Well, two of their most effective strategies are planned obsolescence and perceived obsolescence. Planned obsolescence is another word for designed for the dump. It means they actually make stuff to be useless as quickly as possible, so we'll chuck it and buy a new one. It's obvious with things like plastic bags and coffee cups, but now it's even big stuff. Mops, DVDs, cameras, barbecues even, everything. Even computers. Have you noticed that when you buy a computer now, the technology is changing so fast that in just a couple of years, it's actually an impediment to communication? I was curious about this, so I opened up a big desktop computer to see what was inside. And I found out that the piece that changes each year is just a tiny little piece in the corner. But you can't just change that one piece because each new version is a different shape. So you gotta chuck the whole thing and buy a new one. So I was reading industrial design journals from the 1950s when planned obsolescence was really catching on. These designers are so open about it. They actually discuss how fast can they make stuff break that still leaves the consumer having enough faith in the product to go out and buy another one. It was so intentional. But stuff cannot break fast enough to keep this arrow afloat. So there's also perceived obsolescence. Now, perceived obsolescence convinces us to throw away stuff that is still perfectly useful. How do they do that? Well, they change the way the stuff looks. So if you bought your stuff a couple of years ago, everyone can tell that you haven't contributed to this arrow recently. And since the way we demonstrate our value is contributing to this arrow, it can be embarrassing. Like, I've had the same fat white computer monitor on my desk for 5 years. My coworker just got a new computer. She has a flat, shiny, sleek monitor. It matches her computer, it matches her phone, even her pen stand. She looks like she's driving in Spaceship Central, and I look like I've got a washing machine on my desk. Fashion is another prime example of this. Have you ever wondered why women's shoe heels go from fat one year to skinny the next to fat to skinny? It's not because there's some debate about which heel structure is the most healthy for women's feet. It's because wearing fat heels in a skinny heel year shows everybody that you haven't contributed to that arrow as recently, so you're not as valuable as that person in skinny heels next to you, or more likely in some ad. It's to keep us buying new shoes. Advertisements and media in general plays a big role in this. Each of us in the U.S. is targeted with over 3,000 advertisements a day. We see more advertisements in 1 year than people 50 years ago saw in a lifetime. And if you think about it, what's the point of an ad except to make us unhappy with what we have? So 3,000 times a day, we're told our hair is wrong, our skin is wrong, our clothes are wrong, our furniture is wrong, our car is wrong, we are wrong, but it can all be made right if we just go shopping. Media also helps by hiding all of this and all of this. So the only part of the materials economy we see is the shopping. The extraction, production, and disposal all happens outside of our field of vision.
The background 1. After the US stock market crash in 1929 and the Great Depression, Bernard London, a prominent real estate broker, suggested in the New Prosperity in 1933 that the depression may end by making planned obsolescence compulsory by law. The suggestion was ignored and never put into the legal practice, but was revisited in the 1950s during the mass production era as an idea to make consumers seduced to obtain the newest product with the newest possible look. At an advertising conference in 1954, Mr. Brooks Stevens, a versatile designer and inventor, gave the speech titled Planned Obsolescence. While he did not coin the phrase, he popularized it, and to him, however, planned obsolescence was a positive. He was a practical-minded champion of commerce and felt that satisfying the consumer's desire for something new and different was a good thing, even if that desire moved people to buy a little sooner than might be necessary. Since that time of rapid industrial development in the 1950s, the planned obsolescence culture has advanced in almost all sectors of mass production, primarily in developed countries. Critics of the growth society pointed it out as unsustainable in the long run. In contrary, in communist countries such as USSR and its satellites, East Germany and others, planned obsolescence did not make any sense. So to satisfy their markets, those economies focused on making long-lasting quality products. Despite the criticisms about the economies and social engineering of communist Europe, the fact is that the East Germany made a refrigerator that had worked for 25 years without failure. Planned obsolescence tyranny. Why is like that? What happened? Who's responsible? Continuously replacing rather than repairing products creates more toxic waste, pollution, uses more natural resources, and results in more consumer spending. Nowadays, more than ever, manufacturers have advanced technologies to make higher quality products that last longer. However, They deliberately avoid doing that because quality products last longer, so during the same time span, less product is going to be sold and consumed, which leads to less profit for manufacturers and retailers. But by designing for the dump, consumers have to purchase products more often, so more frequent purchase of products brings more profit to manufacturers and retailers, and ultimately provides more sales tax money to governments. Therefore, governments have no interest to ban and control planned obsolescence, because by doing so, they would get less sales tax money for their programs, which may result in decrease of political appeal of governments and possible loss of the elections and power. In summary, a faster cycle of production powered with planned and perceived obsolescence leads to higher consumer consumption of less durable, lower quality products, faster throwing away and purchasing sooner, higher profits for manufacturers and retailers, more sales tax money for governments, more pollution and more environmental damage. This is not sustainable at all. Planned obsolescence in computer and software industry. Unfortunately, the strategy of planned obsolescence is common in the computer hardware and software industry too, where planned obsolescence occurs in a synergistic manner between the hardware and software sectors. New applications and operating systems demand more memory, hard disk space, storage capacity and throughput. This demand leads to the development of improved memory technology, increasingly capacious hard drives and storage media, and faster microprocessors. New operating system application software is often carefully calculated to reduce the value to consumers of the previous still good production version. This is achieved by intentionally making programs upwardly compatible only. In other words, the new versions can read all the files of the old versions, but not the other way. Those computer hardware software manufacturing strategies are usually camouflaged and advertised as a market-driven move toward the implementation of new features and capabilities. The fact is that computing-trained industry manufacturers analytically and gradually create perceived need for customers to buy the next and newer version of a product enhanced with new design and other features, services, functions, etc. Consumers usually do not ask for new features and functionalities that would cause their current software and hardware incompatible and obsolete in a very short time. So in the end, manufacturers, retailers and governments profit, while consumers more lose than gain. Therefore, to preserve functionality of their computing resources, tools and production systems, consumers have no choice but to dump the old hardware, buy and or upgrade to newer versions, and spend money on computers sooner than expected, hence exhausting budget by spending money that can be used for other often essential needs. That trend has a specific negative impact on all educational institutions, causing additional budget constraints. The only big companies that succeed will be those that obsolete their own products before someone else does. Bill Gates, founder of Microsoft Corporation. The Moore's Law and planned obsolescence. Moore's Law tells us that the amount of transistor inside a chip will be doubled every 1.5 years. It means we will increasingly get faster hardware, and as a result, new versions of operating systems and software will be developed to take advantage of the extra processing power. Eventually, our computers and portable gadgets will soon become unsellable and undesirable, although they still work perfectly. Intel Corporation, the one of the leading PC chip manufacturers, starts development and production of next generation of PC chips before it has begun to market the last one. Planned obsolescence in computer and software industry. Example, Microsoft Corporation Windows operating systems. XP was launched in 2001. After 3 service packs made good and stable operating system. Vista was launched 5 years after in 2006. Unstable and resource hog OS. 7 was launched in 2009. Intended to fix Vista still buggy and unstable OS. 8 was launched in 2012, enhances Windows 7 but shares the same weaknesses. Windows XP lasted 5 years, and after 3 service packs was made a good and stable OS, while in just 6 years 3 new OSs, Vista 7 and 8 were launched, with the main purpose to make billions of dollars to Microsoft Corporation. In many cases, we can still work adequately using software versions released 5 to 6 years ago. For example, most average users won't get significant improvement in productivity with Vista 7 or 8 after upgrading from Windows XP. Let's initiate the shift from the culture of planned obsolescence to sustainability. Explore how longer-lasting products could offer enhanced value while reducing negative environmental impacts. Research consumer influences and expectations on product lifespans. Explore and design a strong marketing platform for product quality and examine and promote the quality and durability in manufacturing of a whole range of consumer durables. Vehicles, kitchen appliances, audiovisual equipment and other domestic products such as houses, furniture and floor coverings, hardware, garden tools, clothing, household textile, recreational goods, do-it-yourself goods, etc. Create conditions for the reuse of packaging and zero-waste initiatives. Creation of fewer but better quality products, looking after them carefully and investing more in repair, renovation and upgrading, as well as adjusting the law on guarantees and repair work. Define and set policies for product longevity and durability to extend lifespans. Promote design to last policies in all kinds of manufacturing. The previously mentioned practices would direct world economies onto a more sustainable course. Stop the tyranny and eradicate, shift the culture of planned obsolescence. Therefore, stop wasting resources and damaging the environment. Society in whole, with its institutions such as business, media, education, government, traditions and social movements, all have its important role in that planned obsolescence cultural shift. Gradually, the consumers will accept above practices and values and change our culture away from rampant consumerism, so the culture of planned obsolescence will shift to the new culture of quality and durable products, responsible consumerism, and sustainability. Conclusions. Planned obsolescence has been around for almost 100 years. So the process of gradual shift and eradication of planned obsolescence culture is not going to be fast and easy. Changing the consciousness of the consumers and philosophy of the manufacturing industry will take decades, but that is the only way to transition from throwaway society toward more sustainable paths in production, recycling and environmental protection. Let's start now to revert the planned obsolescence trends and gradually eradicate the culture of planned obsolescence, and continuously educate consumers and manufacturers that making quality and lasting products is the only working formula for the long-term sustainability and better life of the people in the world. Let's move away from a throwaway culture towards an economy sustained by more durable goods. Tim Cooper, 2010. If we eradicate planned obsolescence, our grandchildren will be grateful to us. The materials used for making this media project possible, pictures, videos, clips, have been free for educational use or published either under Creative Commons or Fair Use and Fair Dealing licenses. This is the end of this media project, but let it be the beginning of needed changes towards the new society free of planned and perceived obsolescence.